In a powerful endorsement of Ethiopia's development path, Barbados Prime Minister Mottley has characterized the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD as a modern-day equivalent to the historic Battle of Adwa. In her conversation with Trevor Noah, Prime Minister Mottley framed Ethiopia's achievements not just as national milestones, but as a revolutionary victory for the entire Pan-African movement. Mottley drew a direct parallel between the 1896 victory over Italian colonial forces and the construction of the GERD. She noted that, just as Adwa asserted African independence, the dam represents a 21st century Adwa by proving that African nations can execute massive infrastructure projects despite international resistance. A key pillar of Mottley's summary focused on Ethiopia's financial resilience. She highlighted that when international funding was denied, Ethiopia turned inward. Ethiopia financed the massive project through its own central bank, domestic institutions, and the contributions of its citizens. This self-reliance, she argued, serves as a blueprint for other developing nations seeking to bypass restrictive global financial systems. The Prime Minister emphasized the human impact of the project. She noted that the dam provides essential electricity to a population where more than half are living in darkness. Mottley praised Ethiopia for pursuing industrialization by utilizing renewable hydro energy, which provides development without becoming a drag on the planet. Using Ethiopia's engineering feat as a case study, Mottley called for the decolonization of global power structures. She asserted that the GERD stands as physical proof that Black people and African nations can achieve world-class results after centuries of external domination, provided they are given fairness and transparency in the global arena. Now, let me invite you to listen to what she says and the tones of voices she attached to her words.
Prime Minister Mottley, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Trevor.
I was thinking of every possible question I could ask you because you're one of the most brilliant thinkers I know. You're also one of the most original human beings I've ever met.
If they don't have a chair at the table for you, bring your folding chair. And that's what we've had to do.
I like that.
Bring our folding chair to the table.
That's sort of what Ethiopia has just done. I mean,
Exactly.
what we're just speaking about is Ethiopia has been trying for a long time to build a dam. And I know it hasn't come without its political, sensitivities with Egypt and other countries that are downstream from the Nile. But it's really revolutionary what they've done because
Absolutely.
Ethiopia wanted to build a dam that they needed to generate electricity for a region that covers how many millions of people?
Well, the population of Ethiopia is over 100 million.
You're right.
And only, I think, just over 50% of their population have access to electricity.
Yeah.
And if you talk to anyone about the story of Africa, the biggest problem in Africa is that when the world is talking about technology, 600 million people out of 1.4 billion do not have electricity.
Yeah.
And the World Bank is committed to doing 300 million, and I thank Ajay for that. But what's happening to the other 300 million?
Mm-hmm.
The world has more than enough money to finance it. And the fact that they're using a dam means that they're using renewable energy that is not becoming a drag on the planet as well.
But how they funded it was fascinating.
That's the story of resilience.
I mean, that's the most fascinating story. They asked for a loan from the International Bank.
And the bank's international community refused to fund it for whatever reasons. And the Ethiopians turned inward. And between the central bank and the banks in Ethiopia and the ordinary citizens.
It's a mind-blowing story.
Citizens buying bonds, citizens giving donations. And I said to the Prime Minister 2 days ago when we opened it to Abiy, I said, look, you know that this is the 21st century Adwa. And for those who don't know about Adwa is the battle where Ethiopia beat Italy in 1896. Nobody believed it would have happened. And Ethiopia came together, and it took them, I think, almost 2 years in the long trek, and they rose majestically. Adwa is what led to the beginning of the Pan-African movement. The New York Times, when you go to the museum in Addis Ababa, that commemorates Adwa. You see the New York Times articles showing that this little African country, that's their mind, oh mind, is much bigger than Italy, beat the great Italians. And out of this then came the entire movement that, guess what, Black people can achieve something after centuries of domination and subjugation. And out of that came the glory of the Pan-African movement, the conferences, ultimately the 1945 Manchester Conference, which really was the last major one before the independence movement, and Nkrumah and all of the others coming out. So for me, this engineering feat is the biggest dam in Africa. It's like 2 kilometers wide, 550 feet high. I mean, you have to see it to believe it. I've never seen water move at that speed. And even after they take the water that they need for the dam to generate the electricity, the overspill is coming down with a ferocity that I've never seen it. And that they could do it when the world said no. It took them 14 years, but they did it.